Welcome to 12 Plus in the Loop, where we tell you everything about what's happening in the growing West Valley. I'm Troy Hayden.
And I'm Tram. We are here at Luke Air Force Base that spans 4,200 acres, and we're going to tell you all the amazing things they do right here.
So Luke doesn't have a true officers club. They have a club for both officers and enlisted, and it's called Club 56 for the 56 Fighter Wing. All right, let's go inside and check it out. It's really cool. Once you get inside, you see Zemke's den, and Zemke was a colonel who actually ran the fighter wing back in World War II, so it's named after him. A lot of heritage in here. And look at this place. Hi, Brianna. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good to see you. All right, so you're the catering manager here. And I love, you got some really cool things around, like these mugs over here. Show us these.
Yes. So these are the ones that are placed here. So whenever people retire from the Air Force, they leave their mugs here. So they get them designed here at our custom shop, and they're able to come and have drinks, and they get it for a little cheaper price, but they get their custom mugs here.
And I also love how you have artifacts all over the place in here. Like that's the top of a cockpit, right?
Yes. So the cool thing about this place is that we have a lot of different artifacts that are here, and they're not primarily F-16s or F-35. So these are various different aircrafts that we've been able to see across the world.
And this is actually from an F-16, isn't it? An ejection seat?
No, but it isn't an ejection seat. So it's been used at one point, but yes, it's an artifact from the Air Force.
So if I pull this, I'm okay, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Welcome to the commissary at Luke Air Force Base.
It's like a grocery store, but because it is run through the Department of Defense, it's the Defense Commissary Agency, DECA. They provide food at a discounted rate.
It's a big benefit for active duty members, their families, retirees, and anybody who has access to the military. For Colonel Peter Abercrombie, who lives on base, it's quick and convenient.
My family's here probably 10 times a week, which is probably more than average, but it's usually because we're in the middle of cooking something and we go, hey, I'm missing one or two items. And so we'll hop in the car, we'll come here, it's like 5 minutes down the road, grab what we need and go home and continue making dinner.
And these YES tags stand for Your Everyday Savings, giving members a reduced price on hundreds of items.
Sometimes there's about 400 items that they make sure are below the market average in the local community, make sure we have a little bit of a savings on that to help our younger airmen out who may not get paid as much money. They can get a savings here to feed their families.
Even better than the YES products are these power boxes. So rather than buy these meats individually, they can actually pack it in different kinds of boxes with different kinds of meats that would save you at least $15. And what's interesting is that you guys even have an ethnic aisle.
Yeah, so with the amount of folks who are stationed here from overseas who are doing their training with us, we want to give them that taste of home. And so the commissary has taken it upon themselves to order things from their home station.
For instance, this is the Asian
Correct.
section, and I feel like this is more than you would find at your typical grocery store.
Absolutely. They carve out an extra space here just based upon the population that we are serving here. I mean, we have everything from boba teas and Thai teas.
So this section is the German section. You've got everything from some Spätzle to, look at this, German sausages. That's pretty interesting, haven't seen that. And also German chocolate. But let's just say some of these servicemen and their families didn't find exactly what they were looking for. You just come here to customer service and you fill out this form. It's a special order form. And then from there, the store does its best to bring the product right here.
So this just makes it perfect for them because we all have our favorite things growing up as kids, right? Those little treats or those sweets. They can come here and find those things that remind them of home.
These F-35s don't run on regular unleaded. They take over 2,000 gallons of high-grade jet fuel. A single drop of water in that fuel can ruin a multi-million-dollar engine. And it's Airman Darren Burgess's job to make sure that doesn't happen.
We're the first line of defense in the event that there is anything wrong with the fuel. We catch it right off rip and make sure that it's not going to hit the aircraft when it's not up to standard.
The fuel is delivered to the planes on the tarmac in these big tanker trucks, so Airman Burgess will grab samples and test for purity.
Fuel should be looking like this: clean, clear, bright, everything is good to go. This is what we do not want to see. Of course, display purposes only.
Burgess says he's been doing this job for 5 years. Does he like being in the Air Force?
This is probably the best thing that had ever happened to me.
Why?
I think the sustainability of the Air Force has really progressed me within my own career. I think there's really good things within the Air Force that has made me build as a human. So it's great for my family, it's great for me.
Luke Air Force Base was named after Second Lieutenant Frank Luke Jr., who was born in Phoenix and made aviation history in World War I when he destroyed 18 enemy aircraft in the sky over France before being killed at the age of 21. He was the first aviator awarded the Medal of Honor. Today on 12 News, as part of our dedication to keeping you in the loop with all things happening out in the West Valley, we're highlighting Luke Air Force Base.
Troy and Tram are live out of the base, and being in a constant state of readiness, guys, no matter the situation, is absolutely vital, right?
Yeah, and it's so interesting learning about all the different roles
There's
that
so
airmen
many.
can play out here. So this is EOD. Their main job is when they find ordnance in a battlefield or down on the bombing range down here that's still live, they make sure that it's okay.
EOD, which stands for Explosives Ordnance Disposal. And right here, we've got one of the EOD robots here. They're going to do a demo. But over here...
Let's start over here, Nick.
Okay, I was going to say, we've got... Who in a bomb suit? And thank you so much for doing this. We know it's, very hot.
This is my team member, Airman Otzen, and he's in the EOD-10 bomb suit right now. That's going to protect him from like frag, blast over pressure, maybe fire. The material's made out of the same type of material a firefighter suit would be. We would wear this suit when we're going down to interrogate hazardous devices, anything like an improvised explosive device or an unexploded ordnance.
And I noticed that his hands are free, though, because you've got to be able to use your fingers, right?
That's correct. Yeah, when we're going down to work with the item intimately, he's going to need to use his hands to work with the hand tools that he brings with him or any other items like an x-ray so that he can see what's inside a device or anything like that.
But how nerve-wracking is that to think that at any moment it could explode?
It can be pretty nerve-wracking, but something that we use to keep us away and safe from a device, that way we're not so heart-pounding all the time, is the robot over there.
Okay, good transition.
You can see him picking up the ordnance right now, that mortar. So we use that most often to keep us safe and far away from these hazardous devices.
And who is operating that?
That's Airman Jesse McLean over there, and he's on the computer. You can see that he's got all the cameras shown here, so that he can see everything that's going on around the robot.
So it's like a two-man operation.
It actually is most of the time a three-man operation. We work as teams of three, and the lowest ranking team member will typically be driving the robot. They're always very good on the controllers, as you see in his hand there. Most of us are really familiar with stuff that shape these days. So.
Yeah, that's like a video
my son.
game.
Yeah, exactly, the PS5.
I bet Zach could be really good at that. So, I mean, putting your guy in that suit is going to be like your last resort, right?
That is always the last resort, yeah. We don't always want to send them down in the suit. No, that's like last resort there for sure.
I was going to ask you, I mean, this looks like it weighs so much and that it's so hot. I don't know if we can hear you, but what is it like? What is it like in there?
It's actually not as bad as you think. Being from Arizona, I'm used to the heat, so I could be in here a while.
This is 106 right here, all the time. Oh, wow.
I think it's a little steamy in that headmask.
Oh, it does, but, it has AC, air conditioning, sort of, in the helmet and through the back. So you actually can stay in here longer than you think.
It looks like half astronaut, half scuba diving.
What's this on your wrist here?
Yeah. These are my controls, so I can either turn on my lights right up top or adjust the airspeed, turn them off.
Okay. But it has nothing to do with operating the EOD robot.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay.
No.
So I want to come back over here. I know you're waving over here. But I want to see, I mean, it looks very meticulous. It looks very detailed. I mean, how difficult, is this to operate the EOD?
Well, I think just like anything, it takes time to get used to it, right? Yeah. And we've got quite a few different robot platforms that we use. This is one of our more intricate and more maneuverable platforms.
Can you operate it?
Oh yeah, sure can. Absolutely. Yeah, so it's got quite a few different modes. You have a mode where you can just manipulate the arm and the joints. Yeah. You've got a mode where you can just drive the robot front and back, or you've got a mode that will do a little bit of both. So it just takes practice like anything else and getting used to the platform, and it's fun to drive. It's like a video game.
Well, you've got it down. You're winning. As far as we're concerned.
Thank you for so much for all what you
guys.
do.
Yeah, thank you all for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
we
so much more coverage coming your way here.
Yeah.
On 12 News at 4 from Luke Air Force Base. What are we doing next?
Well, we're leaving here We're going to miss you guys, but we are going to head over the other way and talk about communications.
Yeah, so, they have to talk to the jets, right?
Yep.
That's the pilots, the crew chiefs, everybody. So the man in charge of keeping communications ready to go is coming up next.
Yeah, excited to meet him.
Yeah.
All right, back to you guys.
I do have a question, though. The guy that's in the suit, as part of his training, does he actually have to go through an explosion to know what that feels like, or does it just happen on the job?
Do you ever have an explosion happen as part of your training? Do you get close to those, or is that just too dangerous?
Luckily for me, I'm actually pretty new here. So I've been here about 2 months. I've got to do a lot of hands-on training, but nothing of that sort.
Okay,
They don't put you through something that blows up by you.
Well, yeah, that's what the EOD robot is for, right? So that they can get closer to that explosive so that you don't have to. Exactly. Yeah, we want to keep him intact, Caribe.
Yeah.
Very
so
important.
glad
Yeah.
I just
that suit is air conditioned.
I know. I just wondered, what they've been through at this point.
He's in the shade, but
I think
still.
we need to put that on.
Yeah.
All right, more coming your way.
Thanks,
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, time to check in with Lynn.
But this here is MWD Enzo. He's my partner.
Meet military working dog Enzo, a 7-year-old Belgian Malinois, who, like many members of our military, is well-traveled.
Where's he been? He has been to Saudi Arabia, Africa, and then a few other areas that I can't disclose.
We got to look at some of the training the 56th Security Force Squadron works on at Luke. Handler Staff Sergeant Elijah Spaulding says Enzo was trained to sniff out explosives and drugs, and he's a finely tuned athlete. We also saw what Enzo can do when he needs to flex some muscle. In this drill, taking down a threat.
Subject, let me see your ID.
No, man, I'm good. All right.
It's your ID, dude.
What are you doing, dude? I'm just
Hold
trying
on,
to hang
release
out.
my dog.
No, you're not going to sit in that
Get
dog.
him. Get! Woo-hoo! Good job, bud.
Here, Enzo is told to guard a suspect while his handler may be busy in a search or other situation. Look, he actually circles the suspect. He won't let him get away, and he's ready to bite on command. Staff Sergeant Spaulding says Enzo's the best partner he's ever had.
I got to my first duty station and became friends with a lot of military working dog handlers there, and that's kind of where I started falling in love with the career field. I saw the bond that they have between them and their dog, and that's what I wanted. I know, you're tired.
It's everything you'd want in a local department store with popular name brands all under one roof.
It has anything from beddings to clothes to jewelry to you name it, they have it there.
Welcome to the Base Exchange at Luke Air Force Base. There's even appliances, furniture, and so much more. And there's even high-end prestige items from Michael Kors, even Coach purses and Sunglass Hut. This is all tax-free as a big benefit to service members.
The benefit of shopping at the Base Exchange is that there's no sales tax. So no local sales tax, no state sales tax. It is all tax-free. So there's a benefit to our airmen when they're shopping there that they can save a little bit of money in that regard.
And there's even a price match.
If you find something that is cheaper in the community, they will price match that as well. So if for some reason their item is higher priced, as long as you can show them proof that the item is selling for cheaper in the local economy, they'll price match that.
Colonel Peter Abercrombie says any extra money the BX makes, they give that money back to the military community.
So they're either using it for MWR, which is our Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Fund, so they give that back so we can do items for our airmen, whether it's to take a trip, whether it's to fix a playground, whatever we feel like we need to do with that funds, we can do to make the base just a little bit better. And then whatever else they have, they put back into their store to make it better as well. So, but it's a great partnership. They're always looking out for the best interests of our airmen.
Airman Francis Creer grabs his tools and gets to work. He's a mechanic at Luke Air Force Base, but he doesn't work on jets. He works on trucks, and he knows what he does is crucial to the base's mission.
Because I know that every single vehicle that I repair and maintain will have an impact to the entire base. Each unit has a vehicle, and without vehicles, we won't be able to move personnel, equipment, and eventually we won't be able to fly sorties, flight missions.
So you take a lot of pride in your work.
I do, yeah, I do.
The old saying goes, if you've got it, a truck brought it. Airman Creer makes sure the trucks that carry parts and supplies around the base are in top working order. I asked him why he chose to enlist in the Air Force.
I joined the Air Force mainly for job stability. I like that we get really good health insurance benefits. I have a family, and recently I just had my newborn.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I couldn't imagine being able to support financially if it wasn't for the benefits that we get.
Airman Creer has worked in California and also the Middle East while enlisted, and he knows the skills he's learning here will help him in the future.
It's also like a good trade to be able to do. So career after maybe military service is something that maybe I can do in the civilian side. It just gives me options and it makes me competitive in the civilian side once that time comes.
Some call the scream of jets flying out of Luke Air Force Base the sound of freedom. And Airman Bailey Life's job is to make sure that sound is heard. He works on these jets.
So this is our F-16 armament backshop building.
Life and his fellow airmen here right now work primarily on the remaining F-16s at Luke, but they're transitioning to the more advanced F-35s, and it truly is a team effort.
That's the one thing about the Air Force is everybody's job is just as important as everybody else's job. My job specifically is very important just because we give the pilots the tools that they need to be able to defend themselves when they're in the air.
Life was a college football player before he joined up, but there was little doubt about what he was going to do after school.
My whole family joined the military. My mom was in the Navy, my father was in the Navy. My grandfather was in the Air Force for 27 years, and I always kind of wanted to join the military.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is the best thing about being an airman?
The experiences that you get. I lived in Japan for 3 years. When I was there, spent time in Guam, South Korea, Tokyo.
Our Emma Jade is joining us live from inside the pilot's locker room. You had quite the tease talking about a helmet that cost more than our houses, so you got to walk us through this.
I know, it's right over here. A1C, you guys, it's happening all right now. If you can see right over to the side of me, I don't know how much we can show you, but those are the F-35 pilots who are about to head out, like literally in a couple of minutes. Look, they're all checking in. This doesn't feel like real life. This is A1C Cristobal, by the way. And you are breaking down kind of the flight suit, everything that I'm wearing. What the heck am I wearing? What is everything? We're starting with the pants. This is actually on top of my flight suit. What is this?
So that's called the G suit. It's pretty much like regular pants, you put it on one leg at a time, but what it does, what makes it different from anything else, it has its hose right here. Yes. That connects to the vest, and it allows air to go from the jet to the pants, allowing it to inflate. So.
And how often do these inflate if I'm flying in the F-35?
The computer regulates it while they're flying.
The whole thought is so that I do not pass out, right?
Essentially, yeah.
And it's all computer regulated.
That's right.
Okay, then I've got my vest on. Break down the vest for me.
So it starts with the pick right here. It's a pilot interface connector, connects to the jet. It allows your communication system to route through here to the mask, and also oxygen system. So this long green hose right here, it'll connect here to the mask and to your face.
And do I have the mask on the entire time that I'm flying?
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay, and this is actually how I talk. There's a microphone inside of this mask too, if you can see that, and that's how I'm communicating with the other pilots as well, right?
Yeah, and ground control as well.
It's like really happening right in front of me. It's a little hard to focus because this is just so cool. We have to talk about this helmet. You told me this helmet right here, $500,000?
That's right.
What is so special about this thing?
Well, it's made out of carbon fiber, so it weighs about 5 pounds. The heaviest part of the helmet right here, it's the electrical system. It honestly doesn't weigh that much. Do you want to give it a hold?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't weigh much at all, right? That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. It's great that it only weighs that much because while they're pulling G's, their body weight multiplies. So they can pull up to 9 G's in the jet. And if the helmet weighs 5 pounds, that's 45 pounds on their head.
Okay, so this helmet is connected to the jet, which is littered with cameras. So when I'm wearing this helmet, it's like the best, basically, VR set on the planet. When I look down, I'm not seeing the bottom of the plane. What am I seeing?
The ground.
I'm seeing the ground below me. So it's absorbing all of those cameras all around the plane?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
You're acting like this is a normal thing. This is not. This is crazy. Have you tried one of these on? What's it like?
I have actually. It was really tight because all these helmets are fit to every pilot specifically. Yeah. So might be a perfect fit for the right pilot, but for me it was it was crushing my skull.
Okay, but that's what's interesting because it's not just the helmet, but every inch of the suit. I know this one, it does look quite fitted, doesn't it? But every inch of the suit that those pilots who just left that they're wearing is fitted to them exactly. And that's really important here. Why is that?
It's important. So, I mean, it's, put it simply, making sure they stay alive in the air, making sure they have as much safety as possible, because at the end of the day, this is a fighter squadron, this is the military, and it is dangerous.
It's very dangerous. And so every bit of this, Justin, it means something. And it's here on this suit to keep you alive and to keep you safe up in the air. Justin, was that the coolest thing with all of those pilots about to head out?
It really
actually
was
happening.
I saw in one of our monitors them walking out there to get on those jets. That is pretty cool. I can't wait to talk to you in just a couple of minutes.
It's kind of hard not to believe that this is like on set of Top Gun. Yeah.
I'll have them cue up the music for you. Right. Okay, we'll see you back there in just a few minutes.
You see them flying all over the West Valley. The F-35, the most advanced fighter jet in the world. When you think about these planes, you might think about their stealth capability, their flight performance, their weaponry. But have you thought about their tires?
So these are F-35 main landing gear tires. These are basically the two biggest tires on the jet.
Sergeant William Feldman shows us around the 56 Maintenance Group's wheel and tire shop. The tires on the F-35 are surprisingly big, about the size of a truck tire. Maybe like your tires, they're made by Michelin. But don't expect these to get 30,000 miles. How long do they last?
7 to 8 landings.
7 to 8 landings. So why only 7 to 8 landings? Is it that dynamic when it hits the ground?
It just varies on temperature, on how hard the pilots are landing, how often they're flying. 7 to 8 landings is about what they get in.
Wow. Sergeant Feldman showed us the wear.
So you could see, tread here is gone, it's flat, and then you have white cord. And that's one layer of white cord. So that would be bad and needs to be changed.
These tires are inflated to over 300 psi, which is about 7 times as pressurized as most car tires. A jet is not taxiing down the runway or taking off without good rubber underneath it.
Basically, when we get these wheels in, we are required to take them apart, inspect them, make sure there's no damage, anything crazy like that. If everything looks good, we put a new tire on there, we air them up, and they go back out to the units to get installed on an aircraft.
Without a tire, a plane's not going anywhere.
Absolutely not, sir. No.
This would be an entry wound of a gunshot. That's an exit wound.
You can tell this is a military medical training facility right away.
You start packing, you want to keep that finger inside, because let's say it's on an artery, you want to apply pressure the entire time.
The 56th Medical Group Simulation Lab is filled with dummies you don't find in a typical hospital.
They're state-of-the-art. They blink, they scream, they talk.
This dummy is missing its lower leg.
So let's say we're out in the field, we find him, he's screaming, he's bleeding. You'll take a tourniquet, place it on his leg. Once it gets tight enough, the bleeding will stop.
Technical Sergeant Brittany Pickens demonstrates a kind of drill that's used to put an IV directly into a bone if much of an arm is missing. But this group is also responsible for treating some of the more than 7,000 men and women who work at Luke Air Force Base every day.
Our mission is to empower and keep the world's greatest pilots in the air flying those missions, and myself as a physical therapist, I get the opportunity to work with every individual who flies the plane, fixes the plane, and all of the support services here at Luke Air Force Base. So it's a super awesome career, and I get an awesome opportunity every single day.
Luke Air Force Base, the largest fighter wing in the U.S. Air Force.
Home to the 56th and 944th Fighter Wings, where we train the world's greatest fighter pilots and combat-ready airmen. So notice I said world's greatest in there. because we do train 75% of the world's F35 pilots right here at Luke.
Including training for 5 foreign partner nations: Italy, Belgium, Denmark, Singapore, and the Netherlands. All train here to build stronger international collaborations. Luke is located in Glendale, nestled between a number of other West Valley cities like Litchfield Park, Peoria, Surprise, and El Mirage. Mark James is the director of the Community Initiatives team at Luke Air Force Base. He makes sure the military members get the support they need and tackles the issues that affect the base at every level: local, state, and federal.
We are the largest fighter wing operating in the 5th largest metropolitan city in America. 13 municipalities fall within our mission footprint. So you're talking 13 mayors, 13 councils, governor's office on down, and Maricopa County as well. So we have such a large footprint and diversity amongst the state, local, and federal entities that it takes those long-term relationships to make it all work.
Even all the way between Yuma and Tucson, south of I-8, at the Barry M. Goldwater Range, where pilots practice air-to-air maneuvers and more. With more than 5,200 active service members, more than 2,300 reservists, and close to 2,900 civilians, the direct economic impact is $974 million.
There's 10,000 personnel that work up here on the installation each day. That includes active, reserve, and our civilian counterparts. There's nearly 100,000 personnel that the installation supports in the local West Valley, and that includes our retirees and dependents. So you're talking healthcare, you're talking education, businesses, all contribute to that number.
Add it all up, and the total economic impact in Arizona is over $3 billion.
Our economic impact is $3.88 billion, which is the equivalent of 5 Super Bowls every year, right here in the West Valley every year. So, you know, that's an impressive number, and we're proud to be able to contribute to the economy. But it really comes down to the support that we get from the local cities. I don't think it's an overstatement to say that Luke Air Force Base would not be here today if it was not for our West Valley partners, which are those 13 municipalities and the county, supporting what we do. Bringing the F-35 here in 2014, we wouldn't be here without them.
It's a powerful force that has a huge economic impact in the region, but more importantly, an influential impact on the world, and it's right here in our own backyard. Thank you so much for watching 12 Plus.
Tune in to watch other episodes of In the Loop on 12 Plus and 12news.com.